Just a couple days out from what might be the final regular season game in which the Kansas City Chiefs are forced to play their starters, because if they win, they will wrap up the number one seed in the AFC and be able to take a bye week or an effective bye week or a half a bye week, however they decide to do things in that final week of the season. But they have to beat the Steelers first. Just a couple days before that pivotal game, the Kansas City Chiefs have made another roster move. There have been myriad roster moves this season, especially when you get into the practice squad side of things, and a lot of that has had to do with injury situations, but there are no real consequential new injuries to the tight end position. I'm going to talk a little bit later about some stuff that's going on at the tight end position, but what we have here is a signing to the practice squad of a veteran tight end that I don't think is going to be consequential this season. Who is that tight end? Robert Tonyan. So if we go down here, I have the pre-draft measurables pulled up from both Noah Gray and Robert Tonyan, just so we have someone to whom we might compare Robert Tonyan. 6'4" and 5/8 inches tall, basically 6'5", 236 pounds. He is now 240, so he is 2 inches taller than Noah Gray and the same height. 32.5-inch arms, which is an inch longer than Noah Gray. 10.25-inch hands, an inch bigger than Noah Gray. Sounds real weird when you're saying it out loud like this. A 4.58 40-yard dash compared to Noah Gray's 4.60. So slightly faster, 2/100ths of a second faster than Noah Gray. But the real big difference in their speed is actually at that 10-yard split. Robert Tonyan with a 1.53 10-yard split compared to Noah Gray's 1.61. That is an incredible difference of speed in that short area. But we will see the 20-yard short shuttle, a 4.34 for Robert Tonyan and a 4.45 for Noah Gray. Now, these numbers for Noah Gray were really good for the position. So to be beating Noah Gray by 11/10 of a second in that 20-yard short shuttle, that's a good number. The 7.123 cone drill compared to Noah Gray's 6.9 is not. The 35-inch vertical is kind of it's basic. It's kind of on the high end of good for a tight end. He had a 10-foot-5-inch broad jump, nearly a foot longer than Noah Gray's 9-foot-7-inch broad jump. He did one more rep on the bench press. Now, these are really, really compelling numbers. I don't know that we see these on film, but we will get to that part of this in just a second. So who is he? What has he done in the NFL? Well, he's had a really good season. Unfortunately, it was back in 2020. He has been in the league since 2018. So this is a veteran tight end that the Kansas City Chiefs are signing. In 2020, which was his third season, he racked up 586 receiving yards. That's a good season for a tight end. We've been spoiled by Travis Kelce. 586 receiving yards is a good season. 52 receptions is a good season. That is an 59 targets as well, which is an 88.1 catch percentage. That is massive. But the greatest thing about this season is that he had 11 touchdowns. That is an elite statistic there. Also produced 33 first downs. Now, I don't think that it's fair to ask why he wasn't that guy in 2018 and 2019. Sometimes players come in and have to develop. I am not 100% sure who was ahead of him in Green Bay in 2018 and 2019 at the tight end position. Possibly it is someone that is obvious that is just escaping me. But 2021, the season after, he reverted to subpar numbers. Just 29 targets, 18 receptions, 204 yards, still found the end zone 2 times. but he had that 62.1 catch percentage. And that's one thing we're looking at here with Robert Tonyan. Rookie, 66.7. Sophomore campaign, 66.7. The anomalous 2020 with an 88.1 catch percentage. Then he fell back down to 62.1. And you see him here in 2023, last season, with a 64.7. But there is another blip on the radar. His final season in Green Bay, where he had 470 receiving yards. That is a very solid number on 53 receptions coming from 67 targets. Still, just those 2 touchdowns, despite the increased workload there. Now, what are we looking at as far as how often he plays? Because it's one thing to say, okay, well, he reverted to means, but how did he get there? Well, in 2020, he played 638 snaps of football. That was the big season with 11 touchdowns and 586 yards. He fell by half by snap count to 306. And in 2022, his second peak there at 470, he played 591 snaps. You can see also his rookie and sophomore campaigns. He was a regular special teams contributor. He was last year in Chicago as well. It is 100% possible that if this move is made for this season or made with this season in mind, it is because Jack Cochran has found himself on the IR. It is possible. I don't think that they're going to. So Jack Cochran plays linebacker. Linebackers and tight ends are comparably sized people. He does not quite have the athleticism that Jack Cochran did, but I don't think that's what's going on here. I'll talk about what I think is actually going on here in just a second. But the player, Robert Tonyan, who is he? He has good hands. He is a hands catcher. He is looking the ball into his hands, making the catch, and attempting to get upfield. We'll get into that in a second too. But one of the interesting things about his game is that he seems to have a rectangular catch radius. If you put the ball on his body, he's got it, baby. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. If you put it directly above his head, he's got it. He's making that catch. It seems that when you are putting it out in front of him, when he is having to put his hands, so he's got here, maybe not, and we're good again. We're good, maybe not, and we're good again. That is kind of his catch radius. At least it appears to me. So that is maybe part of what is going on with falling off last season. Because again, if we go back and look at things, it seems that he was on a little bit of a trajectory with Green Bay. And then you have in 2023 last season, he played a lot, but he only got 17 targets. 17 targets on 323 offensive snaps. You look at that final season in Green Bay, he had pretty good quarterback play throughout his days in Green Bay. And when you look at one of the things that Aaron Rodgers is really good at is ball placement. Ball placement with that accuracy, which we actually saw from Michael Penix too. Remember what I said about Michael Penix in the draft. But I think that what we might be seeing with the fact that he fell off again in Chicago is that you didn't have elite quarterback play. So, surprise, if you have Patrick Mahomes placing the ball where this guy can catch it, it's possible that you squeeze a little bit more productivity out of him. So really, in that case, if he is good, depending on ball placement, the only anomaly that you're looking at here is 2021's production, but he only played 8 games, starting 5 of them, and you're looking at a guy who played 306 snaps. So playing half of the amount that he did in 2020 and 2022, he would have gotten, if you doubled his playing time, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns-ish, right? So you're looking at a guy who, for basically 3 seasons there, if not for missing time, he would have been fairly consistent, goes to Chicago, falls off. That's what you're betting on. And then this year, I can't explain. Appearing in 5 games, 0 starts for Minnesota. Who knows what's going on there as far as personnel and things like that. Maybe he just was not the fit that they thought he could be. Maybe they just brought him in to do special teams. I don't know. This is the really interesting thing about watching him. He gets 1 change of direction per play, max, which is interesting because the guy's 20-yard short shuttle, like we just saw, is a 4.34. Noah Gray was a 4.45. So I can't explain that, but he gets 1 change of direction per play, and he's pretty good for that one. Outside of that, there's no jukes, there's no moves, there's no breaking tackles. It is, we're running to the sideline, we're going to catch the ball and head north. If it's not that, it's not there. And that is an interesting thing about watching him. I don't know where those movement skills go. He does look fluid in his speed. He does look, you can see the acceleration, right? So he's good. He's very good at short crossing routes, very good at running under the line and flooding out into the flat. Something that we haven't seen as much in Kansas City as I think we saw earlier in Patrick Mahomes' career, whether that was with wide receivers or tight ends. And he's very, very good at that. He's very good at catching the ball in the flats. I don't know if I took that down. But anyway, very good at that. Another thing is, this is not an H-back. Noah Gray, kind of an H-back kind of guy. You're going to line him up different places. You're going to put him behind the line. You're going to run him at fullback. You're going to do some of these other things. He's not a big wide receiver. Travis Kelce, a big wide receiver. He's able to do all the different routes. He's able to create mismatch problems, things like that. He's not an extra tackle on the field. This is a tight end. Like, this is as clear-cut a case of a guy, you look at him, that's a tight end. There is no, maybe he could have played defensive end in another life. There is no, this guy is 30 pounds away from playing tackle. Nothing. It is incredible when you watch it. That's a tight end. Another thing that we don't have here in Kansas City. Like I say, Travis Kelce, big wide receiver. Noah Gray is an H-back. Jody Fortson was a wide receiver who grew himself into tight end after 3 years of trying to do so. So having just this is a tight end is, yeah, it could add wrinkles if what I'm about to talk about happens. Here's the big thing with this move. I don't really think this move has much to do with this season. Much like signing Siaki Ika, I think what you're doing is you're getting this guy in the building before they close the doors on the season, and you're seeing what he has to offer. You're seeing what can he do. You're seeing all of these different things while you have him on the practice squad so that you might offer a futures contract to him later. I think that's what this is about. I don't think that he's being brought in to be so the Chiefs only have 2 tight ends on the active roster right now, Noah Gray and Travis Kelce, and they were trying to run with 4 tight ends earlier. I think that's out the window. I think they have all of the wide receivers now. That's where things are going to head for this season. I do think next season they're probably going to try to do the 4 tight end thing again. But, there is one reason for pause here, and I hate to be the Debbie Downer. I hate to be the guy that's going to bring this up. But it's almost so crazy right now that we have to talk about it. One reason for pause, Brett Veach has always liked defensive backs. He likes to draft them. He likes them on the UDFA. He'll sign them as free agents. He'll claim them through the waiver wire. He wants 30 and 40 defensive backs on the active roster, on the IR if they have to be there. That's where we're going to stash them, on the practice squad. He's always wanted that. All of a sudden, this new obsession with tight ends is starting to worry me. Is it possible that someone inside the building, Brett Veach, Andy Reid, maybe Phippen, everybody, knows something about Travis Kelce that has not been announced? Is it possible Travis Kelce is considering retirement seriously at the end of this season? Because here's the thing. Obviously, Anthony Firkser and Peyton Hendershot and Robert Tonyan and Jody Fortson and Baylor Cupp and Jorquarius Spivey and Irv Smith and Isaiah Gathings. That's quite the ride. Firkser, he hardly knows her. Firkser, Hendershot, Tonyan, Fortson, Cupp, Spivey, Smith, Gathings all cycled through this roster during the course of this season. Those guys obviously are not going to replace Travis Kelce, but they might be capable of taking the spot on the roster, the spot on the depth chart that Noah Gray or Jared Wiley had, while Noah Gray and Jared Wiley move up. So, very interesting, especially because what he represents, like I said, this is a true tight end. This isn't an H-back. This isn't a small tackle. This isn't a big wide receiver. This is a tight end. Noah Gray's the H-back. Jared Wiley is a big wide receiver, kind of like Travis Kelce. If this is a guy that they are planning on moving forward, it gives you a different body type in that room. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And I hope to have you back for the next one.